I'm going to start by saying I think any of the succeeding generations are going to all have read in high school history, I would assume, about the Great Depression in the United States and throughout the world. The bank failure in October of 1929 was just 4 months before I was born. I, as were all the other children born about that time, lived in homes that were as poverty-stricken as you might think about it nowadays, but we didn't know it. We kids were all in the same boat. I can remember having to put cardboard in the soles of my shoes because they'd wear through, and I had a pair of shoes, usually Mary Jane's, that I would wear to church. Then I had my school shoes, and they were to last at least a year. Well, sometimes they didn't. You'd gone through the rain and all that. That was one point of deprivation, I suppose you would think. I think food-wise, probably it was more of a repetition. You'd have the same food, and I don't think I was ever starving. I could be sure of that. I would average at least once every 2 weeks we'd have a guy knock at the back door. We didn't call them homeless in those days, whatever, some people called them tramps, whatever, but looking for food. And I can remember any number of times my parents scrounge up some kind of whatever we were eating. Usually it would be at mealtime. Dad would take the food out and they'd sit on our back step in our porch, off our porch, and eat whatever we had to share. In 1941, the war had just started, for the United States anyway. Ladies were going to work in factories, etc. Well, Mother was hired full-time as a bookkeeper, but this meant my mother was a full-time worker, and this was unusual. Most of the mothers were home and all that. So I became what we now call a latchkey kid. I could walk to school, as I said, to grade school, which was only 2.5 blocks away. We had 1 hour for lunch, but I would go home and I would fix a sandwich or whatever I did at the age of 11. I also would start dinner. Mother would set me up to doing that. And at the age of 12, I started babysitting. At the age of 14, during the war, they needed people so much that you could work. You could get working papers, so I did. I worked at the department store and I made, I don't know, it was a paltry little bit, but I was so proud of the fact that I had a job. I had a full-time summer job at the age of 14. But I learned a little bit about money management. Not much, because I remember saving up for a sweater that I'd seen in a really nice store in town. And I saved enough money to buy it. And I thought after I bought it, why did I do this? This was so much money down the tubes. But anyway, it was quite a learning experience.